Okay, so we've been talking about the roses, and if you remember, one of them, or the Rosales order, which contain a lot of the fruits like apple and pear and prunes and others, which has a very, an almond, of course, which has seed that contain cyanide or hydrocyanic acid. Now, there was a proving done on hydrocyanic acid. And I thought it's very interesting. So I would like to talk a little bit about it. It is not cyanide exactly, it's hydrocyanic, it is synthesized, I think. And it's a gas that was used in concentration camps by the Nazis in the Second World War. And it was used to exterminate human beings. That's simple. It was used mostly on Jews, but also on gypsies, retarded children, whoever was not deemed fit in their. I find it that in some cases, this is a remedy that can come up, and it is a little bit related to persimmon, the spores kaki, servald, not to persimmon the fruit, but the one which was done by Magic Servald. You could find it in this book, Three Trees, and she went to Japan and took a piece of the tree that survived the atomic bomb. And hydrocyanic, and they share with hydrocyanic and Diospyros kaki, they share the dreams of fire, of war, of soldiers coming and looking for you, and disasters. Only, I think Diospyros kaki is less personal. And there are people who are much more friendly and giving. Hydrocyanic cases, Mahesh Gandhi told me that he thinks it is related to acute miasm. So if you're doing miasms, you know that every remedy has its own miasm, just as the whole column. Column 5 is psychotic, syphilitic, but every remedy has its own miasm. And he says it's very much like the Rosales without the love theme. And although it's not a plant, it is much related to the Rosacea, and it is very relevant to look at the compounds which are related to the plant, because they sometimes give us good information. And I know that Paul Treyout, you've shown me once that you are even looking at the butterflies, which in relationship to the plants that they are, and that they are on. But so we can do in different ways, not only in this way. In different ways, we could do kind of belonging an animal to a plant to a mineral. And I do sometimes feel that actually many of us has one remedy which is a mineral, one remedy which is a plant, and one remedy which is an animal spirit. And they would all work. And they would they are right in a certain time. I don't say that we don't change remedies. We do according to situation, to life, and sometimes few remedies can help us. But at a given time, I believe that you can find for everyone the mineral, the plant, and the animal of his spirit at the time, the guiding spirit, elementals. So the proving, I think it was also related to the atmosphere. The proving was done, showed a lot of Holocaust-related anxieties. Now, most of the people who went through the Holocaust are dead or almost dead, but their offsprings are here, and there's been enough psychological research showing that Holocaust or refugee or disaster awareness is being transmitted from generation to generation. In simple words, let's say you are out of the Holocaust, and I remember in the kibbutz where I was, the people who went through the Holocaust, we, as young people, you know, if you didn't want the food, then you just throw it. I didn't like the half of the omelette or half of the slice of bread. I'll just throw it to the common garbage. They would go from one little, on the table there were garbage. They would go from one garbage to another and take half an egg, half an eaten bread. And in the kibbutz, there is no problem whatsoever of food. So it was not connected. It was like for them throwing a piece of food, of bread, was some like an unforgivable sin. I don't know what they did with it, but they would collect it. And this kind of anxiety, I don't have food, I don't have security, I'm going to die, is being transmitted to the children. And the children grow with it. Like, don't go outside, there are bad people out there. Okay, I go outside and I'm looking for bad people. And this becomes kind of a basic delusion. So hydrocyanic acid has Holocaust-related anxieties, but it could be, again, people who has not been there, especially if they has not been there, but it could be also being in a refugee camp, being in a war and being bombed, or just being in a war zone and being bombed. And then you have dreams of burning houses and crumbling homes and soldiers going through the attics where you are hiding. And some of them might tell you, I feel that in previous life I have been in the Holocaust. In few cases in hydrocyanic acid, this is what I heard. In previous life, I have been in Holocaust. And they find out that you're a person that they can say such things to. So if you're hiding from soldiers, otherwise you will be taken to the camp, or you will be put in front of the row of shooters. I don't know how you say it in English. Then there is starting from every noise. And the reaction is palpitation, or wake up from fright from any sound. It could be a 3-year-old child with, we will talk in a moment about the birth condition, but the birth condition we will be talking about. And the mother said, the slightest sound and you wake up screaming, or just, not even screaming, it goes like, like that. You don't even scream, you're not allowed to scream. Otherwise the soldiers will come and see you. Afraid to go to sleep because of the bad dreams that will come. And also because when you're asleep, you might be taken advantage of. You might be found. Fear of trains, of car approaching. I'm going to be found. Now, if you remember, the Rosales belong to the first row. And the first row always, in any column, the first row always refer to the pre-state, to the world before, to the things to before the present. So oftentimes it is referring to previous life. And many times people from any place on row one would say that they remember previous life or that they carry traumas from previous life. So it could be the Holocaust, but it could be the World War II or a war in Chile, or it could be we hear nothing about what the massacre in Russia, but there is in Ukraine, or what happens to the Chechnik, or all they can wake up with that. Or they say, I am obsessed with this time. I have to read about it. I have to I write essays about it. I'm seeing movies and I'm going to the library and reading and so on. It could be either way. Dreams like I'm in a concentration camp or in a prison, and soldiers are coming to take me and my family. And I know that they're going to take me for extermination. So I have to run and hide. There's lots of hiding in derelict rooms, in crumbling house and things like that. And oftentimes there is severe anxiety, usually manifesting at night when they're not busy. And during the day, there is a lot of worry. Like everything is a reason to worry about the family members. My daughter goes to camp with her friends, and I am out of my mind with worry, panic and dread. And they can be sympathetic, but oftentimes with their worry, they're nagging.